What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Warwick Report. So, after the Toronto Raptors, Tampa Raptors waived Alex Len, they have a roster spot open and they have yet to make a move. So, I wanted to talk about three options the Raptors have and which they can fill out that last roster spot. So, before I do that, I'm just starting on my channel. It would really mean a lot, and I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. It really helps this channel grow. So, please subscribe. And with that being said, let's get right into it. So after the Raptors waived Alex Len, that created an open roster spot. So they currently have 14 players on the roster and 2 players with two-way contracts. So I'm going to look at the three options the Raptors could use to fill out that roster spot. So the first option is converting Yuta Watanabe's two-way contract to a one-way contract. And I got to give a shout out to someone who goes by the name of Sherman, and he commented on my Alex Len video, and at that time I didn't understand it, but for those wondering why we would convert Yuta Watanabe's two-way contract to a one-way, so the reason we would do that is for players who are signed to two-way contracts, they cannot play more than 50 games. So as we know, Yuta has been playing really well for the Raptors, and we definitely need him for more than 50 games. So that would be one of the reasons why we would convert him to a one-way contract. Another option for the Raptors would be to make a trade. It could be a player for trade one player and get 2 players back, but we'll look into that as well. And our third option would be to sign a free agent. So I want to talk about Yuta Watanabe a little bit first. So obviously, you know who he is. I even mentioned it. You know what? I was high on Yuta on one of my earlier post-game analysis. Early in the season, I said Yuta needs to get more minutes. I said it before. I'll say it again. Smart player, high IQ player, plays within the system, which is why he's getting so many minutes. And you'll look at his 4 games here, and you'll question why I'm only presenting 4-game statistics. That's because he's been getting consistent minutes over these 4 games. Obviously, he's played minutes before, but with other games before that, it was kind of like he'd get 15 minutes one game, and the next game he'd get 5 minutes. So the last 4 games, he's been getting a lot of consistent minutes off the bench. And you look at his statistics there, he's been playing so well for us. He plays power forward, small forward, center position. He's absolutely hustling out there. He gets you rebounds, gets you a steal a game. And when you look at his percentage from the three-point line, which is 39, it's just really good. Someone who can play defense and shoot the three. And he's dribbling and he's doing different things. So he's growing with the Raptors just within a few games. You're seeing it already. So, and if you're looking at his overall statistics throughout the season, he's actually shooting 40%. So even better than what he has shot in the last 4 games. So the next option would be trade. And these 3 players really intrigue me through a trade. So John Collins has stated that he is not happy with the Atlanta Hawks because they run their offense through Trae Young. So he's clearly not happy, and they didn't extend an offer. So he's going to be a restricted free agent. Same with Lauri Markkanen. He was not extended, so he's also going to be a restricted free agent. And Marvin Bagley, who the Raptors fans have absolutely been in love with, especially after his dad tweeted that he wants out of Sacramento, although he didn't say that himself. All these 3 players are really intriguing because they're big men, they're young, and they provide scoring, which the Raptors do need. So again, I do want to save this for another video where I really dig deep into trades about what the Raptors would give up. But for me personally, these 3 players really intrigue me. We definitely need a better center, with all due respect to Aaron Baines. He's been playing a lot better lately, but we do want to do a trade for a center or a big man at the very least. So I will make another video of that shortly. I do want to get really deep into those trades, but I will leave these 3 players that intrigue me, that I personally would want in a trade. So let's look at some of the free agents out there. Now, I know you're going to laugh at this one, and he's definitely not the sexiest name out there, but there are not a lot of great big men out in the free agency currently. So Joakim Noah is obviously a former shell of himself. He's 35 years old. He doesn't provide much offensively, and his defensive rating of 103 is what he posted with the Clippers last year. But he is a 2-time all-defensive team, and when you look at his career defensive rating, they're 101, which is really good. He's also won Defensive Player of the Year. And again, our Raptors defense has really been struggling, and we could definitely use him at a backup position. He provides energy. And defense is just something that sticks with people even if they get old. Just like ask Marc Gasol, he's still a great defensive player. So Again, there's not really great big men out there, so I think he would be an interesting option for the Raptors. He could definitely play a backup role to Baines, or again, he doesn't really need the ball offensively. He's not going to provide much offensively. There's just so again, I do like his energy. I do like his hustle, and he is a good defensive player. So he is one of our options. Another option is Jan Mahimi. So he played with the Wizards last year. Many of us Raptors fans may remember him from the Pacers days. Again, he doesn't provide much offensively. He's an okay rebounder. With his last season's statistics, he was getting a block a game. And when you look at his defensive ratings, they're not great at all. But we do need to keep in mind that was the Wizards last season where Bradley Beal was doing everything. John Wall was out, and they just allowed a ton of points. But when you look at his career defensive ratings, he's 102. So to give you an idea of how good that is, Serge Ibaka, who was great for us last season, posted a defensive rating of 104 with the Raptors last season, and Jan Mahimi's career defensive ratings are 102, which is really good. So again, maybe he can come into the Raptors and play much better than what he showed last season defensively anyways, but he's a veteran presence, so he'll just come in, play backup. He's a big body, so we can definitely use him against bigger guys like Joel Embiid, Jokic, Nurkic. Not saying he's going to shut him down, but again, when you look at the free agent options, it's very limited. I do like him again. He has experience and he can come in and he should be able to help us right away. So another player I want to look at, my personal favorite choice here is out of the free agency pool is Dwayne Dedman. So for those who don't know, he did butt heads with the Kings last season because he was complaining about his playing time. And I know you're complaining about your playing time with the Kings is not a good look, but the Raptors do have a reputation of turning bad players into good players. And for those who might be hesitant to sign him, you got to remember Kyle Lowry butted head with all the head coaches he was coached by when he first came into the league. So in Memphis, with the Rockets, and even with Dwayne Casey at first, he did butt heads. So again, I know people are going to question why we would want him. So he requested a trade from the Kings, and then his statistics aren't that great. Again, defensively, 107 isn't great at all. But when you look at his statistics with the Hawks, so he got traded to the Hawks after, and he played obviously about 5 minutes more with the Hawks. He got a bit more playing time, and his rebounds is really good. And also when you look at his blocks, he's getting 1.5 blocks a game. So I've seen his highlights. I'm not going to lie. I remember him from the Spurs day. He kind of reminds me of Serge Ibaka. Obviously not to that extent. Kind of like a lesser version of Serge Ibaka. He can shoot mid-range. He definitely dunks a lot. He can get alley hoops. He rebounds and he contests shots. He'll block it. He does have some range from the three-point line. He's not a great three-point shooter, but again, his defensive rating was not great. But again, you could argue maybe that's because he was with the Hawks last season. But when again you look at his career defensive ratings, 104 is what Serge Ibaka was posting with us last season. So maybe he can come and play a good backup role. He's a 7-footer. Again, he'll give us size. He'll give us presence in the paint, which we desperately need. And another player I want to take a look at is Omer Yurtseven. And yes, that's how you pronounce his name. And yes, I did have to Google how to pronounce his name. But he's a 7-foot center, 264 pounds. That really intrigued me. I was looking at the list of free agent big men. Again, there weren't many options out there, and he was intriguing. And you may ask why we would want to sign a 22-year-old. And he actually went undrafted in this year's draft. But this would be a replacement for Yuta Watanabe. If we were to convert Yuta Watanabe's contract from a two-way to a one-way, that would give us an option to sign another player to a two-way contract. And I wanted to throw this name out there because he has potential. So you look at he actually scored 91 points and 28 rebounds in the Turkish game under 18. He was 17 at that time when he did that. So that was 5 years ago. So I want to take a look at his statistics with Georgetown last season. He played college ball, and you see his statistics, good blocks, great defensive rating. I didn't know much about him, so I did a little bit of digging, viewed a few scouting reports and watched some highlights of him. So Omer is someone who can get a lot of rebounds, but he's really good offensive rebounder. He's also someone who can score a lot from the paint. He has a nice hook shot. He's also got a decent mid-range game. and he can shoot the 3-point shot, which he isn't great at, but he definitely has potential there. He can make a lot. So he's made some in college. He has that potential there. When you look at him defensively, he's not a great defensively mobile defender, but he is a big body in the paint. Again, we could develop him under the Raptors system. We don't really have depth at the big man position. And he does contest shots, so that is the good thing about him. He does contest shots, especially when he's guarding big man. He'll contest those shots. He'll get you blocks. He does need work on his defensive game overall. He's a little bit slow-footed. His IQ-wise, defensively, he's not the greatest, so that is a fault of his. When he gets switched onto smaller players, quicker player, he often they blow by him. He's not really quick in that sense either. He does try to contest shot again. He's not really good in pick and roll game either on the defensive end, so that is something he does need to work on. But again, he's an intriguing player. He's 22 years old. He went undrafted, so he's as old as Malachi Flynn. Maybe we can sign him to a two-way contract and have him develop in the 905. But I did want to throw his name out there because, again, he's a big body who can shoot a mid-range. He's got potential. So it is someone that intrigues me, and that is someone maybe the Raptors can sign. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.